Start your week with a triple shot of good vibes. This is the Project Joy podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. Thanks for joining me. Good Monday morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this Monday after Mother's Day weekend? I want to give a special reach out, love, thanks, gratitude, appreciation to all the moms that are watching the show, whether on live or on replay. We love you all, and the work that you do in the world is so important. I know as a mom myself that sometimes you feel like, you're just not doing enough, or that the work that you're doing is not important. And I want to assure you that it is. The work that you're doing in the world is important, mamas. And so I want to send you all the love and hope you all had an amazing Mother's Day yesterday. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and this is Project Joy Live. And I'm so excited to be here with you for another episode this morning. I want to do some shout outs this morning, of course, and say hello first and foremost to all of my friends over on TikTok. Good morning and happy Monday to you guys. We have Jason joining us this morning. Good morning, Jason. We have Frank joining us this morning, also saying, I feel like Jessica is my therapist. I'm here for it. I'm here. Whatever you need, Frank. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it live on air. Brian Tracy is here this morning. Good morning, Brian. It's good to see you. I would love for you to use the comment section on whatever platform you are joining us on and share with us something that is bringing you joy today. I also want to remind you that you can head over to projectjoypodcast.com. That's projectjoypodcast.com and click on the join live button to share a moment of joy or gratitude live on air with me today. You can do that at any point throughout the show. And for the middle section of the show, I will click you in and you can join us live on air to share something that's bringing you joy or a moment of gratitude. Sometimes we have someone in our lives that really means something amazing to us, and we want to shout it from the rooftops. We want to share that publicly. So you can do that at any point during the show. Click into the show and I will bring you on air as well. So over on TikTok this morning, Chelsea was saying, my joy is I got a new job and I don't work at a place I was depressed at anymore. I love that. I love that because, a lot of times we work someplace and it's totally fine to do this in the interim, right? When we're waiting for that dream to happen, or we're waiting for that next job to come along. And it's so nice when we finally get into that space where we're at a place that we love and we're not just working there to make the money, that it's about more than just paying the bills, So I think that's awesome, Chelsea. Amazing. Congratulations on that new job. Jason is great this morning. It was Mother's Day. It was, and that was awesome. Brian's excited this morning because he is going home today. We love that. So Brian is on the road all the time, driving here, there, and everywhere. One of the amazing truckers that makes our world go round here in the U.S., getting things where they need to go. And we really appreciate everything you do, Brian. A lot of times we forget about that because we often thank our military, which we absolutely should do, but there are so many other people that serve our amazing world, and truckers are one of them. And then, of course, you have doctors and nurses and therapists and the public workers that keep the streets going, the police officers, firefighters. There's so many jobs that help keep the world going around, and it enables us to have the things that we have in our lives. And so I think it's always nice to just tell someone, no matter what job that they're in, that they're doing a good job. Like I said in the beginning, even the moms that are at home, and maybe they don't work a job, maybe they're not working outside the home or even working inside the home, but that job of taking care of the children and the household and all of that is so important. And And so it's nice that we have all of these days that we can say thank you to different people. And I just say, let's be grateful for everybody every day. Wouldn't that be wouldn't that be a nice sentiment? So as we're waiting on some folks to join us this morning as well, I want to share with you some things that are bringing me joy today. So last week on Thursday, we had the what would have been my brother's 36th birthday, and it was really cool to see how many people participated this year and from all around the world. So my brother died 11 years ago, if you don't know the story about me or him or any of that. And we always wear black and yellow on his birthday, and we do random acts of kindness for other people. And I always ask other people to join in, even if they didn't know my brother. And it means so much to me, the messages that I receive and the amount of people that participate. And we even had somebody wear their black and yellow and go and that lives in Japan and play golf, which was my brother's favorite sport. And played golf over there and just celebrated him. It was so nice to see that. And to it means something to me, because one of the best ways to celebrate the life of a loved one is to celebrate it with those that are still here on this planet, and to ask them questions and to ask how you can honor them and to tell stories and all of that. And so many people reached out and did that. And it really it means a lot to me. And I know it means a lot to my mom and Adam's dad as well when people do that. And so it's really nice to see that participation. That really brought me a lot of joy last week. And then also, of course, Mother's Day yesterday. It was beautiful. My kids and my husband really went all out to try to make it a special day for me. And it's really something that, it's nice. It's nice to be honored in that moment. It's nice. And so I want to say good morning as well to CK for joining us. Whenever someone does that brings value is a blessing. Absolutely. Absolutely. So Chelsea was following up on what she was saying over on TikTok, saying, I cried almost every day at that job and it was just horrible. And now the job I have is just so much more amazing. That's awesome. That's really awesome when you can get in that space, like I said, where you can experience the joy and not necessarily just have to be there for the paycheck. Molette is saying, good morning. Good morning. Let me know something that's bringing you joy today. So let me know, you guys, what you have for plans this coming week, what you have going on. It would be nice to know what everybody has on tap for this week. It's a pretty lax week here in my world. I don't have a lot of recording going on or anything like that, which is nice to kind of switch gears and focus a little bit on, growing the network of the show and doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes and giving me time to work on my book, because I set a goal to finish my book that I'm working on by the end of the year. And I think I'm on track to do that for sure. So it's nice when I have some time to work on it, though, and don't have 800 other things going on. Don't forget, you guys, at any point, you can go to projectjoypodcast.com and click the join live button, and you can join me live on air for the next segment to share a moment of joy or gratitude with me here. Molette, thank you so much. Chelsea, I hope you have an amazing day. I hope all of you that are joining me this morning are set up to have an amazing day. And we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and dig in a little bit to some more joy conversation, and we'll see if anybody jumps on as well that wants to share a moment of joy or gratitude on the air. And we are going to be right back in just a second, so hang tight. Welcome back to Project Joy Live with me, your host, Jessica Dugas. This is Monday morning, May 10th, 2021. And I want to say good morning to Delight's Digital Cafe, Brandon, and all the rest of the Gavin and all the rest of the crew over there at Delight Digital Cafe. Y'all make sure you watch, subscribe to Delight's Digital Cafe, and be sure to watch tomorrow morning. I will be live for the BJ Cafe segment with Brandon Croucher. Make sure you guys check that out. Jason also was thanking the military for their service. Absolutely, all the time, 100%. We are so grateful for them here in the United States of America. And so I wanted to dig into a little topic this morning because, as I mentioned, yesterday was Mother's Day, and it's not always one of the holidays. Holidays in general can be difficult for people. And we touched on that a little bit last episode when we were talking about grief and how we can find joy in that. But I want to specifically talk about holidays today because when a lot of times when we've experienced grief, that grief can tie into and become more, we can become more aware of the grief, the passing, the loss, all of that on holidays, because those are the days that we tend to get together, right? We have all those memories that we're going through in our minds and everything else. And so it's one of those things that can make it more difficult. But the holidays also can be a difficult time for people who might have just simply difficult relationships with certain people in their lives, whether it's family members or friends or people that they would have spent time with on the holidays. They also may have experiences around those holidays that were challenging for them. So they may have had a traumatic experience. But if you think about it, you guys, that can really apply to any day, not just a holiday. And so I think it almost becomes like a more concentrated feeling that we experience on holidays when we're dealing with anything that's a challenge, you guys. And so when I was sent out a Mother's Day message yesterday, I was very careful within my text community to make sure that I honor the fact that that not everybody finds that time easy. But it goes back to what I say all the time, and that's that if someone is experiencing a hard time, whether it's any day, but specifically the holidays, and it's good to experience and process through all of the emotions that are coming up for you. You definitely don't want to shove them under the rug or say that they don't exist or try to ignore them, because then what happens is the next time that holiday comes or the next day comes, you're gonna feel it even more, and it's a better chance that you're gonna kind of go down that rabbit hole of frustration, anger, sadness, grief, all of those emotions that come up. But the problem comes in when we are experiencing those things and we say, I don't want to feel this way, but then we continue to do the same things that we've always done. That's where the issue comes in. So if we're experiencing anything other than joy on Mother's Day, first thing we need to do is ask ourselves why we're feeling this way. Now, that may seem redundant because you may know, well, of course I feel this way because XYZ. But if you take the time to really ask why, what's the deeper meaning? Okay, so if Mother's Day is difficult for me because my mom died, well, why though? Why is it obviously because she died, but let's dig into it a little bit. Because she used to do amazing things for you, because you always went out to eat on Mother's Day. Why is it that it's so hard? And then what can you do to still sort of honor that experience? So if it's good memories that are popping up, then you can say, I can find maybe a mom who lost their daughter, or I can find another mom who doesn't another person in my life who doesn't have their mom, and we're going to go out to eat together, or we're going to do a different experience together. And you can find different things, not to replace it. That's not what we're trying to do, but to be in that similar energy so that it doesn't have to be as hard as we make it out to be. Now, I know that that part is going to sting, and I'll probably get a little bit of pushback from it, that you make it out to be part. Because that's what we do. We are addicted as humans to the drama, to the upsetness, to the sadness, to the frustration. Though the energy of all of those emotions is so much more powerful than the emotions of being happy and joyful and all of that. So a lot of times we end up going and participating in all of the grief, the sadness, the anger, the frustration, because those emotions give us more of a physical, hormonal payoff and all of that than it does for us to be happy. It takes more hours of being happy to take that place. And so what we need to do, though, is to be intentional about what we're doing with our time and how we are processing those emotions on the days that are challenging for us. So as we're talking about now, if you're thinking about what's my why for being upset on this particular day, and it is a bad memory, then of course, the first thing that we should do is figure out what are some good memories that we can make so that when the anniversary comes up again, when the holiday comes up again, when the birthday comes up again, that we are having those good memories to play into it. And it's not going to be easy. I'm not telling you that you're going to create a new experience for yourself and it's just going to erase everything that's happened. But it's going to help create that new space for yourself, good energy, good memories that you can have carrying onward. One of the things that we shared on last week's show during the talking about grief and all of that is how we honor people who have passed. And the same thing really can apply to holidays and things like that, because we're talking about traditions that come and go on those particular holidays. And the one thing that we can do is to honor, as we were talking about, honor the person through tradition, but also make it look like something that is important to you. Form that tradition, mold that tradition into something that looks authentic to you and who you are. The example that I used for that is that my granny always used to make cannolis on Christmas. And when we became plant-based, I thought, how am I going to do that? Like, I'm not going to be able to do it anymore. And now I make amazing vegan cannolis. And it's about still having that tradition, but making it in a way that is authentic to me and meaningful to me and something that I can continue, but feeling good in the energy that I'm in right now. That's something you can do that as well with other holidays, for example, Mother's Day. So if you're wanting to be in that space on a particular holiday, then be in that space, feel that space. But if you're in that space and you're not happy and you don't want to be there, that's when we have to ask, what else do I need to do right now? What is something that I can do to bring myself out of it? Because the truth is, nobody's going to bring it out for you. Yesterday I had a couple moments where my kids are all doing amazing things for me. My husband went out of his way to make it a great day for me. And I still had those moments where, one, I was kind of sad that my mom wasn't around. And two, I was sad that my grandma's not with us anymore, because she made a really big deal out of Mother's Day. And so, but everything that my kids and my husband were doing weren't going to bring me out of that space. It was me having to say, I recognize that I feel some kind of way about this, that I feel sadness, that I feel loneliness in a way, but I'm going to choose not to stay there. And I'm going to choose to go pick up and have fun with my kids. And I'm going to choose to go have a great day. And it doesn't mean that the feelings aren't there. It doesn't mean that it just goes away. It means that we just have to be intentional about what energy do we want to reside in. I want to take a really quick second here. So obviously, Brian and Brandon were having a love fest in the comments, which we love that. And we've got hashtag favorite humans. We love that as well. I almost read that as favorite hummus because I haven't had breakfast yet this morning and I was feeling kind of hungry. But then I realized, no, it says humans, Jessica, not hummus. And but we love everybody over at Delights Digital Cafe. Jester is here this morning. Chad, Jester Collins. I love how you updated your name, by the way. So now it's not just the Chad was great. It is Chad Jester Collins, Jester that we know him as over on the TikTok. And Donnell Jackson, aka Mr. Jackson, the Mr. Jackson over on TikTok as well. Good morning, Donnell. How are you, my friend? And also much love to Mrs. Jackson, who is probably still sleeping. But if you watch the replay, Mrs. Jackson, we love you. I know. Doesn't it sound good? I'm just I was having a moment with that. That is a good way to shift the energy and enjoy where you currently are. Absolutely. I think we need to ask ourselves more questions, you guys. That's one of the things that I talked about when we were talking about grief this last week is that one of the great ways to really help someone who's going through a grief experience is to ask them questions, ask them about the person, ask them about what you can do to help. We need to ask ourselves more questions. You know, what do we want in the moment? What do we need right now? How can we make this a better experience for myself? Is this the energy I want to be in right now? And sometimes the answer is yes. Okay, let's just be really clear about that for a minute. Is that, you know, sometimes I've gotten really good myself at asking myself these questions as I'm feeling some kind of way, right? So I'm sitting here and I'm feeling angry about something that's going on. And I ask myself, do you want to feel this way right now, Jessica? I ask myself these questions. And sometimes I say, yes. Raise your hand if you have ever been in an angry space, a frustrated space, and you say, do I want to feel? Yes, I want to feel this way for a minute. I want to be angry. I want to be frustrated. And I'm going to have a 5-year-old temper tantrum right now. And you have that moment where you just need, and then sometimes you're in that moment and somebody comes along and says, put a smile on your face, and you want to punch them in the nose. That's what you want to do because you want in that moment. So if that's ever happened to you where you feel angry or frustrated and someone comes along and says, put a smile on your face, be happy, take care of yourself. While that's all well and good, while they're coming from a place of nurturing and trying to make you feel better. If you have ever experienced that and felt like you wanted to punch him in the nose, you know what that means? It means you are not finished processing the very human emotions that you are processing in the moment. It means you need to take a minute and feel the frustration, feel the anger, feel the sadness so that you can get back to that space of joy. And even to reframe it, even that space of anger, frustration is also joyful because that is you processing all of that stuff. And there is joy to be found in that. Joy doesn't always look like this warm and fluffy, little bunny that I'm looking at over here. We have an actual bunny for anybody that's wondering. It doesn't always look like her. Sometimes it looks like the mess that we are processing emotion in because there is joy to be found in that. It's part of the human experience, and isn't the human experience a joyful one? It's supposed to be. And again, I don't mean joyful as in a cute, fluffy bunny. I mean joyful as in the mess that is life. Brandon Bear is my spirit animal too, Brian. I agree. I'm well. She is in school with the little one. I love that. I love it. I'm glad she is up and making the most of the day. Brian Tracy, oh my God, squirrel is my favorite of all squirrels. We love oh my God, squirrel, by the way. CK Ford said, give honor and space for the emotion and work through it from there after acknowledging where you are and how you are feeling. Absolutely. And take the time you need. But like I said, we're going back to having our full circle moment here, going back to what I was talking about earlier, where the problem comes in when we say, I don't want to feel this way anymore. But then we're still in that kind of yucky processing space, and we don't want to. We're done, but we're purposely staying there. That's where the problem comes in, and that's when we need to say, okay, now how do I need to switch up my energy a little bit? Delight Digital Cafe, Brandon is saying yes, but I have to give it a time frame or I stay in that moment. It's like quicksand that keeps sucking me in. Finding the joy afterwards is the best way to know you have grown as a person. I love that. I love that. And some people that's absolutely helpful to give a time frame. And sometimes we just, and I think after you do that for a long period of time, after you've really trained yourself to process through the emotion, it gets easier to not necessarily need to put a time limit on it, because some things take a little bit longer than what we say. So if I say, okay, I'm going to push through this in 5 minutes and I'm not done crying in 5 minutes, then we're kind of whitewashing it a little bit. We're we say spiritual bypassing it. We're pushing through something that needed to be processed in a very human way. And I think that one of the skills that I've learned that I love so much is to say, I'm going to put it on pause for just a moment so that I can get the things done that I need to do and schedule in your moment to process it on a time when you can take more time with it if you need to. And that's one of the things that I really love as well about my trainer that I'm working with, is that we've really looked at fitness that way for me as well, where it's not saying I'm not going to do it at all. It's saying that right now I'm going to switch priorities. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to work on XYZ right now, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to kill it, when I've really got the time to devote to it. It always determines how you heal. Absolutely. 100%, percent. That's how many. And also Brandon was saying hi to Miss CK Ford over there in the comments. So I would love to know, if you have not chimed in yet today, what is something that's bringing you joy today? How was your Mother's Day yesterday? And what do you have coming up for the week ahead? So we are, hey, good morning over on TikTok. We always have people jumping in and out on TikTok, and they're always coming in like, what is going on here? You got to come earlier. You got to come earlier. Chad said, I molded Play-Doh like a hamburger, but when I bit into it, it was a no from me. I would imagine, I imagine that would be a little salty, something like that. Hello, Care Bear Brandon Croucher. Happy Monday to you. You did not, Chelsea. Okay, so I promised I was going to do something. So listen, I am a walking musical. Okay, you say one word and I'm like in song in my head. Just be thankful for those of you that spend any extended amount of time with me, that I don't just do it out loud, because you would never get a word in edgewise. I would literally sing all day long, every word that popped into my head. I would be singing a song. So naturally, it is worse when someone has a name, like a screen name on TikTok or something, that reminds me of a song. And unfortunately, there are some people that have names that remind me of the most annoying, or this one's not necessarily annoying as it is a child song. So there is a guy, yes, Jessica's Extraordinary Playlist. That's what it is in my head. There's a guy that comes into my lives in the morning whose name is Dragon Tales. Does anybody remember the show, the cartoon Dragon Tales, the children's show that used to come on? So literally every single time he comes in my TikTok room, my head goes, Dragon Tales, it's almost time for Dragon Tales. Come along, take my hand, let's all go to Dragonland. And then I'm in my head, like flying with the dragons in the sky, and I forget what I'm trying to say. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore because I'm literally flying with the dragons in my head. Thank you, Dragon Tales. I just have to tell you that. Thank you so much. I have this whole moment, yes, with the Dragon Tales. And this happens all the time. And so when he came in this morning, he was like, it would be funny if you sang that on your broadcast this morning. And I was like, oh, you think I won't? Because I totally will. And I totally just did. You're welcome. You're welcome. CK remembers that show. My kiddos would watch it when they were small. I loved that show. It was one of my favorite kids programs that would come on. I absolutely loved it. Judith is here. Good morning, Judith. If you guys did not catch Judith on the Breakthrough Show last week, she was amazing. We had Judith Finneran on as well as Leanne Thompson. And really the whole episode was focused on legacy, love, and Judith talked about the loss of her husband and what she's done with that since then. And really, it tied in so beautifully to our Project Joy last week, to my brother's birthday celebration on Thursday. My uncle had passed away last weekend, and a lot of things have gone on, and it all beautifully tied together. Mother's Day was fabulous. She said, heading to Port Crescent for the week in our RV, being in joy with each breath. That is it right there, you guys. That statement, being in joy with each breath. So choosing, no matter what is going on, even if the emotion that you are feeling in the moment feels icky and hard and frustrating and sad and angry and all of these different emotions that are challenging, there's still joy in that. There is still joy in that because you're doing what you were meant to do as a human, which is to feel all of the things, guys. There's so much beauty in that. And I know that it's not easy, but nobody ever said joy was easy. Nobody ever said it was hard either, if we want to play devil's advocate there for just a moment. Okay, Brandon. Puff the magic dragon, live by the sea. I love that one too. My brother and I had a VHS tape of Puff the Magic Dragon, and we watched it all the time. So good. I hope you guys are set up to have an amazing week. We are going to take a quick break, and we are going to come back right after this with more Project Joy Live. But don't forget, you guys, make sure you comment down below and let me know what you have on tap for this week, and also what is bringing you joy. And we will be right back in just a minute for more Project Joy Live. Breakthroughs are about more than you might think. They're about discovering who you are, digging deep, reaching to the core of your soul. They're about healing yourself, understanding your beliefs, creating a ripple effect. And it's not just those initial moments that matter. It's about using them to bring more joy into our own lives and the lives of others. It's about having fun, letting loose, enjoying every moment life has to offer. It's about finding a safe space. It's about creating connection. Join us each and every month for exclusive programming, where we invite you to go beyond the breakthrough. So we ask you, are you ready? We'll see you online at thebreakthroughshow.com. Welcome back to Project Joy Live. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and I really appreciate you being here today. CK Ford said Puff the Magic Dragon was by the sea getting hot. He sure was, and he was happy as all get out. So we like that. Chad Jester Collins has a fantastic comment. Human ventilation is very important, just as holding in your farts will cloud your brain and make your breath stink. I mean, that is absolutely one way to visualize, the process that we go through as emotions. Don't hold it in. Don't hold it in. As Shrek said, better out than in, I always say, right? But I think he was referring to something that was not necessarily emotions, and that's what we were talking about. And it can be hard, you guys, right? I think with everything that we've talked about today, it can be difficult to express, for some people, to express their emotions in front of others, especially where we're talking about anger, frustration, sadness, because we are afraid how people might take it. We're afraid of being taken the wrong way. We're afraid of what they might think. We're afraid of being thought of as weak, is another thing. And there are lots of different things that come up that can make it difficult for us to process any of the emotions in front of other people. But I think if we are intentional about trying to surround ourselves with people that will love us anyway, and that are also maybe doing that same thing of learning to process and share their emotions, that there's a level of understanding that comes with it. The bottom line is you always run the risk of, someone feeling whatever kind of way about us sharing our emotions. But as the one saying goes, how they feel is none of my business. How they feel about me processing my emotions in the way that I do is none of my business. That's how they are experiencing life. That's how they are processing things. Judith said, in vulnerability lies our strength. Absolutely. And especially after, when Judith was on the show last Friday, she talked about when she first started talking about her husband, she started to cry. And there are so many people that have come on the Breakthrough Show and cried over the last 3 years. And in that vulnerability, as we're processing everything that has gone on in front of an audience, and we know people are watching and listening, by us doing that, it creates the space for others to feel safe in doing it. In us not being afraid and showing our emotions, somebody somewhere watching that says, it's okay for me to cry too. It's okay for me to be angry too. It's okay for me to process this in whatever way I need to. And it's okay. It's safe for me to do that. And when we're not so afraid to be vulnerable with each other, I think the chances are much better that we'll understand each other. We learn to listen a little more when we're in that space. I know for me, over the years, as I've allowed myself to be more vulnerable, it has been easier for me to be more empathetic, to truly understand, to not just feel what someone else is going through as an empath, but to intentionally be empathetic, and really try to understand where someone is coming from. So as I allow myself to do that, I create the space where I can help understand other people, but also it creates the space for other people to process as well. I think that's so important to remember as we're going through these different emotions. A lot of people I noticed yesterday for Mother's Day that were having a difficult day, they kind of just shut down. And sometimes that can happen, but when what if we encouraged them to just feel what they wanted to feel? What if we didn't always jump in with, well, put a smile on your face, you should be happy, whatever. And just say, how do you feel? And then kind of practice the redirect a little bit. Get them some flowers, take them out to lunch, tell them a joke. Something that is where you're honoring where they're coming from and saying, but also here's some joy for you as well. And you can choose which one you want to take. I hope you guys are set up to have an amazing week. Chad, I can't even share that comment. I can't even share it. I hope you guys are set up to have an amazing week this week. Coming up later on the week on the Breakthrough Show, we have CK Ford is going to be on the show talking about her process of writing her book. She has a brand new book coming out this week as well. So super excited to be talking about that. She will be on the Breakthrough Show this Friday, as well as Lisa Pinnock, who is an amazing vocalist, you guys. She has been a cantor at her church for many years, and she also is a lot of different things. She's a writer. Are we surprised that the people I have on my show are as multi-passionate as me? No, we are not, but we are glad that Lisa's going to be on. She's singing not one, but two songs on the show on Friday as well. So we're going to be talking to both Lisa and CK on Friday. We have a really awesome few, I think we've got like half the season left now. I think we're at the halfway point almost, if we're not already. So I'll have to check on that and get back to you next week. But I'm super excited to have such amazing people on the show that create the space for us to process these stories, process the emotion that come up, but through sharing their own stories and their own emotions. And it's a beautiful thing. Thank you, Jessica. I'm looking forward to this Friday on the Breakthrough Show. CK says, me too, my friend. This is Cheryl's second appearance. There's a new word for you guys today. Appearance on the show. And she is amazing. So we're super excited to have her back on. I see Zaddy over there on TikTok. Good morning, my friend, and happy Monday to you. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you next week. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. And until next week, you guys, make joy a priority in your life today and every day. We'll see you next time. You've been listening to the Project Joy podcast with your host, Jessica Dugas. We'll see you again next Monday and every Monday for another episode to start your week off right.